Hey guys, welcome back. So we're out here on our pole barn project, and the concrete contractor, they've showed up this week and they started backfilling the building, and they are probably 95% complete on the backfill. And now it's time for me to be able to get in there, and I need to start digging in our drain lines for our plumbing and our water lines and start getting everything that goes under the concrete floor. I need to get that in place before they pour concrete. So before I get started with that, let's go ahead, we'll take a look at the backfill and we'll see how they ended up leveling this site. So the first thing they did when they showed up is they went in the pole barn and they started taking off the top layer of grass and dirt, and they took all the topsoil off on the inside of the barn, and then they started bringing in material and compacting it down in layers and building it up till it was level. Now over here, this is 2 dump truck loads of pea gravel, and that's going to be the last layer. They're going to put pea gravel on top of this before they pour their concrete. So there's going to be 1 inch or 2 of pea gravel is the last layer that's going to go on. So as we walk around here, you're going to be able to see how deep this this material is. So here's the porch area, and it's level here, and you can see it just gets farther and farther or higher and higher as we go back. So all the topsoil that they took off the inside, they piled along this side here. Actually, some of that topsoil is even covered up by this material, but that's where all the topsoil went from the inside, as they used it around the building to help hold the material they were adding on the inside. So what they used to fill this in is what they call pit run, and this comes from a gravel pit. It's kind of the waste product, and it is basically sand and dirt and little rocks. It's just a mixture of everything, but it seems to pack down. It does pack down pretty hard, and I'll get to find that out here pretty soon when I start to try to dig through it. So as we get to the back of the barn, this is where we had almost 4 feet of grade that we needed to bring up here, and they've built that up. I think they put it in at about, I don't know, maybe 4 inches at a time, somewhere in there, and packed it down in layers. So it did take a little while to build this up and pack it down and make sure it was compacted correctly. But I think it looks pretty good. This does seem very solid, I will say that. So they did have a couple different compactors that they used. They had one that was a vibration one that skids across, and then they had another one that they were using for a while. It was like a jumping jack style. It's like a jackhammer, just kind of bounces up and down. And they had those two machines compacting all this stuff down. So on this south side here and the west side back there, of course, this is very steep, and I'm gonna have to come back later, add some more material in here, taper this out, put some topsoil on there, and try to get grass to grow along these 2 sides. And that's something that I will do once, the concrete contractors and stuff are all done. But today I need to get run for some water line and some plumbing to go in here for a bathroom and some kitchen sinks. So I'll be running some lines right through this dirt pile here and inside, and getting all that plumbing in. So that's what I'm gonna be doing next. So here's a quick look of what the inside of the pole barn looks like. You can see they've got all that pit run down. It's all compacted down. And what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be there'll be a bathroom that'll end up right here. And so we're going to be running a drain to toilet, a sink, and then a drain over here to the kitchen sink in that area. And then we're going to bring a water line up, and the water line is going to come up in the bottom of the vanity. It'll have a shutoff valve there. And then if I ever want to turn the water off to this building, I just have to heat this small bathroom to keep the water from freezing. Be good. Hopefully this trench will serve both pipes, one over the other one. All right, we got our trench dug from under the bathroom over here going out the side of the porch. And right now we're shooting for 2 feet deep. That's what we got here. And so we got 2 feet deep over here as well. And that's gonna keep our water line below the frost line so it won't freeze. It's deep enough not to freeze. And then you're still gonna have, you know, another 6 inches on top of here with pea gravel and concrete. So it'll end up being close to 2.5 feet in the ground. But I'm not actually gonna put my water line in right now because I'm not ready to run it all the way over to the existing water line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in a 2.5 inch conduit. I'm gonna put it in the bottom of this trench. It's gonna come up over there underneath the sink, and that's gonna give me a path to be able to feed my water line in later. So I can feed that water line through that 2.5 inch conduit up into the sink when I finally trench in my water line the whole way. And if the water line ever goes bad, the good thing about that is you could dig it up right out here outside the concrete, and you could pull the water line out and you could replace it if you ever wanted to. Okay, now we gotta tip your top end in. See if we can get it underneath there. There we go. So we've got our conduit in the ground for our water line. You can see it sticking out right here. And we've got it in the trench. We've covered it up and we've tamped it down. And it comes up back there in the bathroom. So here's the other end. You can see this is where it comes up underneath the sink. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start running our drain line. It's gonna run on top of there and come in. We're gonna have a toilet over here. And then it's gonna come off to the side for a sink drain that's gonna come up right next to this conduit. And then we've got another drain. It's gonna run all the way over here. It's gonna come up in this wall right here. And then that'll be where the kitchen sink is gonna be over here. I mean, All right, we've got our main drain leaving the bathroom in here and coming out and exiting from underneath the porch. And we put a level on everything and we've adjusted it so that the drain is running downhill in that direction. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to backfill the outside of this. We'll start tamping it in and we'll slowly build this up and get the outside backfilled, and then we'll move back to the inside because we got one more drain to run in there. So we just finished up getting our trenches filled back in and packed down. So our plumbing is roughed in under the concrete. So this 2-inch line right here, this is going to be for the kitchen drain. It's coming up in the wall here. It's going to have the kitchen sink here, and then it's going to go up for a vent. And then over here, this 4-inch line is the toilet, and this 2-inch line is for the bathroom sink. And of course the 2.5-inch conduit there, that is going to be where the water line is going to come up in the bathroom sink. There'll be a vanity here and that'll all be hidden underneath the vanity. So the only problem I ran into is when I was gluing this fitting up right here, this section of pipe right here, to the one on the outside of the wall. I was on the other side and I was trying to look underneath the wall and trying to make sure this was straight, and I got it crooked. So you can look at it, this is crooked. But I don't think that's going to be a problem because that is a toilet, so it's going to get cut off right at the concrete. And then a toilet flange is going to mount to that. And of course the toilet goes on there. It has a wax ring. I don't think you're going to have any trouble with that whatsoever. Now this other pipe, it was crooked as well, but I was able to straighten it out because it's 2-inch. It flexes a little bit. I was able to get it plumb and then pack the dirt on top of it, and it's nice and straight. But that's the only problem I had. And the way it was leaning, it was actually leaning kind of this way. So it actually caused it to drain even more. There's no low points or any place that water's going to pool in that line. So everything is free draining. And I'm pretty happy with the way it all turned out, except for that one crooked pipe right there. So looking from the outside, our plumbing was trenched in right here. And you can see it came out right there is our drain. And underneath it, you can barely see it anymore, but there's the conduit that we're going to feed our water line into the bathroom. So I think this is all that I need to do before they pour the concrete. I can finish the rest of the plumbing, you know, after that's done. Well, I'm pretty happy that me and Rebecca were able to get all of the plumbing roughed in the floor for the bathroom and the kitchen area. And we were able to do that all in a day. We did it in a little less than 7 hours, and we dug everything by hand. So a lot of manual labor, you know, digging everything and getting that all trenched in. And but I'm pretty happy with the way it all turned out. I'm happy that it only took a day to do it as well, because I've still got quite a bit that I need to do in here to get everything prepped, because next week they're going to come back and pour the concrete floor. So I need to go ahead and get everything roughed in the floor before they come next week. So I've got an electrical panel that I'm going to be mounting over here. I've got a conduit that's going to go down out of the ground and exit the building to go over to the meter. So I've got to get that panel in and that conduit in the ground. I've got a floor drain back in the back where the dog kennel is going to be in case we want to wash the dogs back there or we want to spray out their kennel. We're going to need a floor drain back there. And then there may be some conduits that I might, if I have enough time, I may try to put some conduits in the floor where the woodworking shop's going to be in the back. Try to get it to where some of the big tools are going to be that aren't going to move, like a big table saw or a big planer or something like that. So I'll do that if I have enough time. But this backfill, I didn't get any of it filmed because this is an Amish crew of guys that's doing this concrete work. And so I didn't want to ask to film them. And they did it in about 2 days. It was a constant flow of dump trucks. A few loads of stuff showed up a day before they came, and then it was just a constant flow of dump trucks all day long as they brought loads in here and packed it down in layers and just kept on building it up. And so they had a skid steer, you know, and a couple vibration compactors and stuff going over this trying to pack it all down. And I think right now we're sitting somewhere around 25 dump truck loads. And I'm not sure if that is just the fill material or if that's counting these 2 loads of pea gravel, but no matter how you look at it, that's a lot of truckloads to be able to get this level and backfilled. And that's not all, because when I come back and try to taper the edges out and try to grow grass and landscape it and get it, you know, all proper and nice around the edges, I mean, that's going to be some even more fill material that we're going to have to come up with. So yeah, this is a big job trying to get this site level and get this pole barn built. So that's probably the biggest hidden cost in this whole thing, is going to be all this backfill. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for today. I've got to admit, I'm pretty worn out. I know Rebecca's already headed inside. She's probably starting to get some supper ready. So I think we're just going to probably chill and relax the rest of the night. And then I'll be back out here again tomorrow, starting to work on the electrical. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.